safety of family members, and it's dangerous things we're dealing with in this world, but I wanted to give a basic testimony about finding Jesus Christ and how he saved my life. So, I guess I'll just tell about the time I actually got born again. Because I thought I got saved at 16, but I really didn't. I was very confused in my head, and I went to a church and I went through all the motions, but I had such identity issues and was so screwed up in my head. I just got worse instead of better, actually. So, I don't know. I was born in a really large family. I was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and my family moved to New Jersey when I was 2 years old. And, I don't know why. I really didn't know why. I was just sad all the time. All the time. When I wasn't with people, I was crying. I didn't know I was crying. I just cried all the time. And, as long as I could remember, I wanted to kill myself. I just didn't want to live. I didn't know why life was so hard. I didn't know why I couldn't understand anything. I know people say that in situations like, seems like everyone else understands what's going on and I don't. Like, this was actually reality in my life. Everybody else knew what's going on and I didn't. So, I was just going through life very confused and lost. So I just followed the rules. Did what my mom and dad told me. I did what teachers told me. I was the good one, A little goody two-shoes, but I was still miserable and sad. All the time. And my parents fed me and clothed me and took care of me and sent me to school. They were involved in plays and programs at school. My mom came to every activity. My dad made sure there was dinner on the table every night. We had a nice house in a good neighborhood in a good town. My parents fought and argued pretty much like probably most parents fought and argued. There was a little bit of abuse that I mostly blocked it out. I thought that was the source of all my sorrow, but it really wasn't. It was something else I didn't even know about yet. But besides that, I just was always sad. And I wanted to kill myself a whole bunch of times in my childhood. I never did anything about it. I read somewhere in the newspaper or something that it was against the law, so I thought, oh, I won't do that. So, maybe that doesn't work for other people, and it may be silly, but to me, I didn't kill myself when I was a child because I found out it was against the law, and I thought, well, maybe somebody knows something better than me, so I won't do that. And, that's actually true. God knows better. Other people knew better. I didn't know any better. I just knew I was miserable. It didn't matter how many straight A's I got. It didn't matter how many musical instruments I could play or how I could sing in the chorus or get picked for all state regional chorus. Or I didn't care about trophies and awards. I didn't care about anything. I just wanted to be happy. I didn't know what that was. So I set my sights on growing up. I thought, if I'm a grown up, I'll be in charge of my own life and then my life will be better. And I wanted to be married and have babies. I just always wanted to be married and have babies. I think God put that in my heart. I love children. But I met a man who was sweet and gentle and kind, and my dad's over 6 feet, a couple 100 pounds. He's a big guy. He could be scary when he yelled, so I wanted somebody who wasn't scary. I met a man who's very nice, creative, talented, funny, and he was quiet, and I liked that a lot. So when he asked me to marry him, I said okay. And we got married, and we had a baby right away. And he was at sea all the time because he was a sailor, and I was still so sad. I can't even tell you. It just sounds stupid to say that. It sounds really dumb. Then I got pregnant again. And I thought, well, when he's on shore duty and he's home with 2 babies and we have our home, we moved to a new apartment in Virginia Beach and it was nice, 2-bedroom apartment, little cul-de-sac. He had his job. He worked nights, so he had to sleep all day and be gone. He was still on shore duty, but it was awkward. I was exhausted physically. I didn't know I'd been under tremendous stress emotionally my whole life. I was just exhausted. I thought, oh, you're just tired after you have a baby. I was nervous exhaustion. 2 babies by myself. I thought I had tried God. I thought I had tried everything I knew to do. Tried marriage, tried having babies, and nothing was working. So, it got where it was so overwhelming. I was on my knees in my living room at my apartment. 1484 Petite Court, Virginia Beach. And my husband had a gun upstairs, and I thought a thought. And you don't know me, but I knew myself. I wasn't just thinking it casually. I had this thought like it was already done. It must have been a spiritual thought, because I was seriously going to get that gun and shoot my 2 babies and kill myself. And I know that's a horrible, horrible thing to say, but that was the truth at that moment. And I was shocked by it, but it seemed so complete and done, like this is done. I had no other hope. I was an adult. I had tried God. I was married. I had babies. What else is there in life? Nothing was taking away this sadness. I was in such great pain. I couldn't describe it. So in the dark on that living room floor, on that carpet, on my knees, I just came to the rational conclusion that this pain has to stop, and I'm going to stop it. That's it. No more. And I heard an audible voice. No lie. I heard a voice out loud in that living room. Out loud. And it said that thought is from the pit of hell. And it startled me so bad. I wasn't scared, but I was so surprised. I just shook and stood up like, who was saying that? There was nobody there. I just went upstairs and got in bed and laid there shaking like, whoa, whoa. Maybe I need to go to church or something. Like, who is that talking to me? So I opened up the Yellow Pages the next day and I was looking at churches. I'm in a town. I've been here a month. You know, I don't know anybody. I'd been in Norfolk for a year, and then I came here and had another baby and been here a couple months. And Great Neck Assembly of God, I saw that in Yellow Pages. It flashed like it was blinking lights, like neon signs in Las Vegas flashed. I was like, how does ink on page flash like light? Maybe that's the church I'll go to. So I was just such a wreck. I told my husband I want to go to church. And I went to church. Took his Chevy Malibu and I went to church. With the baby I was nursing, I left the toddler home with him. And in that service, I think it was the second service of the day because I didn't get up that early, the pastor said, before I start the service today, I want to tell you God woke me up in the middle of the night. And he said, God gave me a message for somebody in this service. And he said, this is very important that somebody in this service today, right now, is thinking about committing suicide. And this pastor said, I just want to tell you, that thought is from the pit of hell. And I was so shocked. I was like, there's really a God, and he really sees me, and he really hears me. And he really cares. And after the service, I went up to that pastor going out the door and told him, or maybe that was weeks later, I told him, but I said, you know, you said that was me. And, you know, he said, that's great. But there was some newspaper article about him coming out that time, and he seemed really interested in that. But ever since then, something was different. I started watching the 700 Club on TV, which, whatever, you know, TV ministries a lot are beholden to money, and there's all kinds of twisted things. I like a lot of people on TV, and there's a lot of problems, so just saying that. But Ben Kinchlow was on talking, and who was it? Pat Robertson's son was on. He kept making jokes about Christian life, and I kept thinking, I wish you would cut it out. Stop making jokes like everybody knows what you're talking about, because I wasn't raised in a Christian home, and I have no idea what the freak you guys are talking about. And it kind of irritated me, because I wanted to know the truth, and I was so desperate, and he was cracking jokes like, well, everybody knows this, and like, I wasn't raised in Sunday school. I was raised on ghost stories, and, you know, isn't it fun to cast spells? Let's try this. This is fun. Let's use herbs, and keep the neighbors away we don't like weird stuff. Interest in sci-fi and the occult. Like it's a hobby or something. Not seriously, but just intellectually questioning whatever. We said a family prayer every year, and that was something. It was real. But you have to be born again, and that's what was missing. So Ben Kinchlow's talking, and I don't even think I was born again yet. I was just realizing, hey, maybe Jesus is really real. And he said, either it's all true or it's all a lie about the Bible. And I was like, oh yeah, that was a sticking point for me. Because when I went to church at 16, I had a revelation of Jesus. And even when my parents took me once to a Mormon church, way back when I was 5 years old, I had a revelation of Jesus. But I didn't believe the whole Bible. I thought a bunch of people wrote that. I'm not believing that. I was too smart for that, you know. My parents went to a Mormon church when I was little because they saw poor neighbors. All these different churches helped them, and all these different churches put them down and made them feel horrible. But the Mormon people came and left food, and left a note, and left water, and left supplies, and didn't make them feel bad. So they went to that church for a little while. It's not like they were full-fledged. They got kicked out because they smoked and drank tea and whatever. They just went for a little while, and I was picked at 5 years old to say a prayer at Christmas, and I said, "Happy birthday, Jesus." And at this time now, as an adult at 21 years old, Jesus reminded me of that. Like, that was real. You really said happy birthday to me, and I really heard you, and that's real. I was like, wow. And at 16, when I knew Jesus was the Son of God, but I still didn't get born again. I was so screwed up in my head. I thought I was coming back to God. I wasn't even born again yet. I got born again on that same living room carpet. I almost killed myself. After Ben said that, I thought about it, and I don't know exactly when it happened, but somewhere around that time I asked Jesus into my heart. I said, be Lord of my life, and I just started reading the Bible and started having miracles happening in my life. I prayed for a baby. I got a baby the next month. I was pregnant with a girl. I had 2 boys, and I realized, oh, God gives you babies. Maybe I better ask him. I want a girl, and I got a girl. That was the first prayer I got answered. Then I said, well, I didn't mean like right now. I meant like after sea duty, then the next shore duty. But, you know, I asked for a baby girl. I was pregnant the next month. Which, I tell you what, we had sex twice that year, okay? Not to be crude, but it was a miracle that I got pregnant. So, God saved my life. And he's been saving me ever since. And you might not know me or believe me, but it's the truth. And I pray he saves you. Because this life is nothing without him. I don't care how bad things look. I told my daughter when I had the cancer, it doesn't matter if I die, sweetheart, don't you ever stop believing in Jesus. And she said, yes, Mommy, I will. What a good girl. But Jesus kept me and brought me through it, and then he showed me all the reasons why. And that'll be another video for another day. Like I said, probably in a few months, I have to wait till a family member I know is safe and out of harm's way, where I can tell some pretty big stuff. But God bless you all on this Memorial Day. And remember people who would die for a country, or die for their families, or die for people they love. You know, Jesus died for us even though we hate him. He said even a good man would hardly die for someone else who they cared about. Jesus died for us even though we hated him. Anyway, God bless you. And this is the truth.